Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to my channel, Airtime Hail, where we like to discuss a little bit of everything that might have to do with roller coasters, because who doesn't like a good roller coaster? Anyway, today I'm going to be doing a video where I cover Dorney Park's B&M Floorless coaster, Hydra the Revenge. First off, we're going to start off with stats like we usually do. It's got a track length of 3,198 feet. It's not very tall. It's only 95 feet tall. The drop is 105 feet at 68 degrees, so it's also not that steep. Not very fast either, at 53 miles per hour. But it does have a very unique layout. It's not really like too many others. I think it's one of the only B&M floorless coasters that doesn't have a vertical loop. Excuse me. 7 inversions that are the JoJo roll right out of the station. Very unique, very picturesque. Incline dive loop, a 0G roll, 2 corkscrews, and a cobra roll. Now, a little bit of a backstory on it is it opened it on May 5th in 2005 on the former site of the wooden coaster Hercules that used to reside there. As a matter of fact, if you're on the right ride, I think it's, can't remember the ride, honestly, but you can see from aerial view some of the footers that go out into the water from the old wooden coaster. Now, I like the story behind it because I appreciate mythology. I think mythology is very interesting. As I had said, the old coaster was called Hercules. This one is called Hydra the Revenge. And if you know a little bit about Greek mythology, Hercules committed this really heinous crime, and to sort of be forgiven by the gods, he had to do these 12 labors, one of which was slaying a Hydra. And so it's kind of neat to me that they thought about, I don't know if you would call it a theme, but at least the story of, I appreciate the humor in it anyway. There's a little bit of humor to it. So I enjoy it, but I can kind of understand why some people may not. Some people really don't care about Greek mythology, and they'll just enjoy the ride for what it is, which, what's wrong with that? You know, either way, if you don't like mythology, you'll enjoy the ride. If you do like mythology, then it just makes it that much more fun. Anywho, to go over the layout, you leave the station, and like I said earlier, you immediately enter that JoJo roll. It's very popular, very photogenic. It'll be one of the things that pop up immediately if you go into any kind of Google image search about the ride. Anywho, you slowly turn to the right, and you begin ascending the lift hill. Once you leave the lift hill, obviously, you go into the drop. And unlike a lot of B&Ms, especially the inverts that feature that sort of swooping turn, this one isn't. It's really a regular type of drop. Nothing special, not that tall, not that intense. Excuse me. And then you enter what to me seems more just like kind of a banked turn. Or just, it's a kind of a turnaround, but on RCDB, they've got it listed as an incline dive. I don't see it, but what do I know? Anywho, a little bit after that, you rise up into the 0G roll, and it kind of does take you by surprise a little bit. It's not really that forceful. It just happens so quickly after, the turnaround. While this coaster may not be that intense, you definitely can't say that it has any pacing issues, because the elements are pretty evenly spaced out. There's never any point of the ride where you're really bored. Anyway, after that, you enter the corkscrew. You turn to the right. So it's a clockwise corkscrew. It's kind of a standard element, but the thing that sort of sets this apart from the other, a lot of rides that feature hard over-the-shoulder restraints when you enter really snappy elements like cobra rolls or corkscrews, you're going to get a lot of that head banging. And I know people say that if you lean your head forward out of the restraint, that you won't get that head banging. And I've done that on Rougarou at Cedar Point, and that is true. You won't get that head banging if you lean your head forward, but my problem with that is that you're focusing more on doing that to avoid the head banging than you are enjoying the ride. I want to be able to just sit there, ride it, enjoy it, kind of shut your brain off when you're riding it. That's sort of the whole point, is to make you... roller coasters sort of play on your fears, and when you have to focus on keeping your head forward, you sort of pull yourself back into reality instead of just letting go and enjoying the ride. But what do I know? Anyway, I got off on a tangent there. Sorry about that. Pretty quickly after that, you turn left and you enter the Cobra Roll. For a floorless, again, it's not that bad. The Cobra Rolls kind of have a nasty reputation, and rightly so. Some of them are awful, but some of them aren't that bad. The Cobra Roll on Vertigo at Kings Island I didn't find to be that bad. The Cobra Roll at Raptor at Cedar Point, to me, isn't that bad. It's very snappy. Raptor's a very intense ride. I'm sure I'll do a review on it sometime, but it's really good. I really enjoy it, and it doesn't seem to have that much headbanging, even though it is a pretty intense coaster. Excuse me. You enter this kind of turn. After that, you kind of meander around. You go over this small, what should be an airtime hill, but I've ridden Hydra a few times and don't really remember. It feels like there should be airtime there, but yeah, they just stopped giving a shit, I guess. This kind of is at that weird period in B&M where they started to kind of go away from intensity a little bit, but there's videos out there, you can check that out. After that, you enter the second corkscrew. Another kind of standard element, nothing exciting, but it's there. It's fun, but not thrilling. After that, you turn left and you enter the brakes. I have to say that out of the floorless coasters I've ridden, which admittedly aren't that many, but I've ridden Rougarou at Cedar Point. It is a nightmare. Some people love it, but I don't get it. I mean, it's a very unique layout. It's a very long layout. It used to be Mantis, the stand-up coaster, years ago. I got to ride it when it was Mantis, and I've got to say that I enjoyed it more when it was Mantis. But even when it was Mantis, it was still a headbanging machine. There has not been one time I have left Rougarou without my ear hurting, or I actually have had headaches leaving Rougarou. I've never ridden it once when it was smooth. I think Rougarou, to me, I don't care if I ride it when I go to Cedar Point. But I go to Cedar Point all the time, so maybe that's why. Very impressive to look at, though, and it's got that great B&M roar. Anyway, getting back to Hydra. I like it. It's my favorite floorless I've been on so far. I would put it somewhere sort of upper middle of the road, like a 6 or a 7. So I guess you could say its final scores would be like a 7. Not super impressive, not super thrilling, but if you ever get around to going to Dorney Park, it is going to be one of the 3 that you need to make sure you get on. Also check out Thunderhawk. At this point, one of the oldest coasters I've been on, and I didn't get to ride it before they did the refurbishment. I think it was in 2015 or 2016. But I've only ridden it since after that, and I found it to be really fun. And I actually got one ride on it this past summer when my daughter and I went, that I was actually getting a little bit of airtime instead of just feeling like there should be. But anyway, you go to Dorney, make sure you hit for sure Hydra, Talon, and Steel Force. Anyway, that's going to do it for me for this video and review of Hydra. Please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned in to this channel and the Facebook page where you will get all the updates